with that, now we can talk about hair, right? Because that's why you guys all came. So today we've got our friend, Sam V ambassador, Redken artist, salon owner, and her salon is totally Harry Potter themed. How cool is that? But she is a hair wizard who loves short hair, incredible energy, incredible passion. This woman's knowledge for hair, business, artistry, and how it applies to all hairdressers behind the chair is just unparalleled. So please, everyone, welcome our good friend, Sam V ambassador and Redken artist, Twylla Jane.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I am doing so good. I'm so excited to share some information today.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm going to jump off here because I know you have a lot of content you want to share, but you know me, I'm going to jump back in and mess with you and ask you questions and keep jabbing at things. So I'll be back. Don't worry.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I just want to ask you guys a question out there. How many of you are taking pictures or video content of your work? If you are, type in the chat pictures for me. Let me know that you're taking pictures or videos, some type of content for your work, of your work. And if you are taking videos and pictures of your work and you're posting it somewhere to do marketing for yourself, tell me what your favorite social media platform to be posting on is. What's your favorite social media platform to be putting your portfolio on? Okay, good. I see a lot of you are taking pictures of your work. Excellent. Yeah, taking pictures of our work is important for a lot of reasons. Even if we're not sharing it, which you should be sharing it, even if we're not sharing it, it allows us as hairdressers to keep a look at what we're doing. So it allows us as hairdressers to keep a look at what we're doing. So that helps us grow. If we can look at our old work and we can start to see the growth that's happening over time, that really levels us up as hairdressers. So I don't know about you guys, but do you ever get a little bored with the pictures you're posting? Do you ever get a little bit bored with your work when you're looking at it? If you do, say, that's me. Hit me with it, that's me. I know I do. Especially taking a lot of pictures, trying to take pictures of every single guest that I'm doing. I sometimes get a little bored looking at my own work. So today, what I want to share with you guys is just a couple new ways to take the same content you're already taking, but just take it up a notch. So hopefully someday festivals will be back in. These are all great techniques to use for festivals as well. But you know, we can have make-believe festivals on our social media now. We can start taking pictures of things like that. So I'm getting started here on my mannequin. One of my style of doing hair is I like really nice, clean, polished hair. But sometimes when we're doing braids, you know, getting a little bit of texture in what we're doing is going to help that braid hold. It's going to help it hold better. When we put the braid in, if we want to lift it away, if we want to do any type of pinning, we're able to do that better with some texture. So I'm going in with my Sam Via Signature Series professional texture iron here. You can see this has crimping plates to it, and I'm putting some texture right in at the roots. So I do like that smooth effect still in the end. I do want a shiny finish out of this. So I'm just going in and punching in some of that up at the scalp. Now, have you guys ever had where you're doing an updo and you go to maybe backcomb it and get some volume, or maybe you're doing a braid and you want to really fan it out and make it nice and big and fat, and it's just not doing that for you for some reason? It's just not, it's not pumping up, or it's not holding the way you want, and we're dousing it with hairspray and we're dousing it with dry shampoo to try to get that texture that we're looking for. So going in and putting this at the root, this crimp at the root, you could do 1 row, you could do 2 rows, will help hold things. It'll help make things a little bit fatter, a little bit fuller. It can make someone that doesn't have a lot of hair look like they have a lot of hair. So the first thing we're going to do for the first braid today, this is going to be our bow braid. So this is a 2-step braid. The first thing that we have to do is put an inside out or Dutch boxer braid, whatever you call that, into the hair. So taking a slight diagonal back section to the top of the ear here, we're working from a side part because I think with this braid, that'll be really pretty to show off, to show it off. So the first thing we're going to do is we have that texture in at the root, is we're going to take 3 strands from the top. So I'm going to work in about 1/2-inch sections going down the head here. Get out of the way so you can see. So 3 sections here. Got 1, 2, and 3. And for this type of braid, we're going to go under. So The outside is going to come to the middle from underneath. Same thing now, the other outside to the middle from the underneath. All right, now we have to start to add into this, and there's 3 hand motions that we're going to work with. So first is going to be an open palm. We're going to wrap it around our thumb and we're going to close down. So we're going to wrap around our thumb and close down. The second one is going to be a peace sign. And then the third is just going to be using our thumb. So the piece that is currently the outside now, we're going to clamp it down. We're going to grasp it. Then we're going to take this middle piece. We're going to put it between our peace sign and hold it. Now this piece on the outside here is what we're going to start to add hair into. So I'm just going to lay that down for a second. And I'm going to come up here and pick up a 1/2 inch section from the back side of this braid. I'm going to add some hair in, pick up some hair, and I'm going to wrap this over my thumb. Now, if I turn my hand out here, what you can see is between my peace sign, I'm going to grab this hair. This is the hair that's currently in the middle, and it needs to come to the outside. So I'm going to clasp it in my other hand, open up my peace sign, place the hair that's closest to it, which now becomes the middle, into that peace sign, and let go of that first, or that piece of hair that's towards the face here. Now, taking that 1/2 inch section again, we're going to add in the hair towards the face. We're going to add it to this piece that's laying down. We're going to loop that over our thumb. Now, you can see again, here we go. Here's the loop on our peace sign. I'm going to grab that with my thumb, clamp it down in my hand, move this piece that's closest to me into the peace sign, and lay that down. Again, 1/2 inch section, adding it in from the back side, wrapping it over the thumb, grabbing my loop, clamping down, peace sign, lay it down. Pick up a 1/2 inch section, lay it over the thumb. There's my loop. I'll grab it with my thumb, clamp it down, peace sign, lay it down. We're going to work through all the way to the bottom of this section. Now, something I want you guys to see as we're working through here is this is the section of hair. So I've got this piece laid down. This is the section of hair that I'm picking up here. So there's hair. If I were to take this straight across, I would pick up this hair over here. But in order to have a really nice clean braid, what we're looking for is picking up that 1/2 inch section just on that side. So just on this side, and we're leaving it down on the opposite side. This is what makes those braids, when you see them, if you're someone that's like, oh, how are people's braids so neat? That's how they're doing it. So you're not picking up the whole row at one time. You're just picking up half of the row and adding it in. Looks like I just got carried away and dropped a piece there. Let me go back one. Okay. Add that in. That's the worst when you do that and you're like, where was I? Okay, add it in. All right, peace sign. Clamp it down. It's because I wasn't talking myself through it. Add it to the peace sign. Pick it up from this opposite side. Lay it over the thumb. So we're almost to the bottom of this section. So you can see now, one of the things that I like about the crimper too, is that it gives a really fun feel to things. So something that, especially in photographs, it picks up very subtly. Because that crimp is so small, it picks up very subtly. It gives kind of a matte effect to the hair. It gives it a slight texture, just kind of gives it a je ne sais quoi that can get somebody to stop scrolling and look at what you have posted there. All right, so almost to the bottom of this braid, and now we're just going to turn it into a regular braid. So we're going to switch our hand position here. We've got our 3 pieces. So we have our outside pieces and the middle piece. I'm going to walk you through this. So we're going to turn it. We're going to make the outside the middle, and we're going to grab with our thumb this middle piece. Now watch this hand. We have to scoot this back into our peace sign, because now when I turn this hand under, I can grasp that center piece. Okay, now look at this hand. I'm holding it in my thumb and forefinger. I need to scoot it back. Now back over here, turn it around. Now I can grab the center piece. This hand, scoot it back. Turn this hand, grab it. Scoot it back, turn it, 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 grab it. So that motion, very easy motion to do a braid. I think sometimes we get a little fumbled when we're doing braids, but if we can get emotion in and we can get that repetition in, it will become a lot easier for us.
Twylla, my friend.
Yes, Andrew.
Cheryl is asking, are the pieces you're adding essentially being added to the middle?
Great question. So first they get added, yes, first they get added to the outside and then they get moved to the middle. So that's what makes that when you're doing a braid, each outside becomes the middle. So as you add to that outside piece, then you turn it into the middle, and that's what starts to wrap that braid through. So yes.
And it's going under as it goes to the center, yes?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
when we're doing, thank you, when we're doing a traditional French braid, we're going on top. And that's something a lot of people, at least I hear with my guests too, and maybe hopefully you guys hear this as well. They're like, I can do a regular French braid, but I can't do that inside out one. And so the biggest thing is just switching the hand movements. And the next thing is like keeping your hands flat to the head while you're working. So a lot of people have a tendency to start to like lift out and away, and that will actually pull the braid away from the head. So now we've got the first part of our braid in. Scoot the band down a little bit and start to just flatten out the bottom of the braid. We don't want to go up in here and flatten that one out too much yet, but we can start to pull out and flatten this braid. When I say flatten it, we're kind of like pancaking it through, getting it flat, building in a little bit of texture.
Hey, Twylla.
Yeah.
Can you show us the top front so we can kind of see where that braid starts and how it looks from the start? Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I see someone says the iron's giving the roots a ton of volume. It totally is. All right, so for the second part of this braid, we're going to come right behind that same section we did. Take about 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch section back down. I could use behind it. Clip everything else out of the way with our dry sectioning clip. And now this section is what's going to become our bow. So this section is going to become our bow. So I'm going to use 2 hairpins here. These are extra large hairpins. They're actually from Marco Arena. He has a pin kit that I love. And I painted them pink so that you could see them a little better while we were working. So I'm going to get the mannequin up closer here so you can see this as it's happening. I'm going to lower her down a little bit. And the first thing that we're going to do is take one of these pins. We're going to place it underneath the braid. So we're going to place it right underneath the braid. Now, I think the fun thing about this is I'm just teaching you one method with this or sharing with you one method that I like. But the cool thing about being a hairdresser is that we get the opportunity to go back to the salon and start to riff on it and make it our own style. So when you go back and you start to play with this braid, you're going to be able to make it your own. You can decide where you want to place this initial pin under to get a different result. For today, I'm going to put it directly under this braid so that we can see it. So here's our first bow. Now I'm going to tell you how we did that. So here's our first little bow. So cute. Okay. In this 1/4 inch section that we have picked out back here, I'm going to take a 1/4 of an inch off of that. So a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch square. Take that pin, place it right underneath the braid so that the head comes out the other side. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. I like to do it this way because it's a little hard for me to see. But you're going to take your pin, your second pin, feet up. You're going to lay the hair into it, and then you're going to thread it through like a needle. So thread it through the head of the other pin like a needle. Grab the feet of both pins. So what you'll start to see here on the top is this loop come through. Now you're going to shimmy, 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 shimmy. Do a little shimmy. Boom. Now you've got a braid on both sides, or you've got a bow on both sides. So second bow there. And you're going to continue this down as far as you want to go. So again, placing the pin under the braid. I'll show you one more time. So the head is up here. Watch your feet, because if they get stuck in the side of the braid, it can be a little finicky to get back out. There's tails from the previous bows. Just lay those alongside your braid, because as you stitch this through, you'll just pull those right up against the braid and they won't get in your way. If you want to make it editorial, you can totally pop those out and fan them out and do fun stuff with them. So again, placing a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch section through the pin, feet up. Find the head of this pin, thread it through, pull it through until you have a loop, and then shimmy, shimmy, shimmy until you have that second loop.
So beautiful. Hey, Tara Bramowitz. What's up, Tara? She's
Hey,
saying,
Tara.
how do you decide where to insert the pin?
Great question. So where to insert the pin? For today, I'm just going directly underneath, and I'm actually going on the round of each of these little braids towards the face. I'm going directly under that first round and all the way through to the back. So I have seen people do this braid where they just come through like this top back part, which looks really neat too, or just the front part of the braid. I'm going all the way underneath so that you can see both the braid and the bow that we created today. So experiment with these. Let me see what you guys do when you create these.
That's what's so cool with techniques like this. You know, little shifts and little changes can make such a big change with the end result. Carol Lee, hi Carol Lee. Do you ever use volumizing powder while you make the bows?
I have not tried that. I would like to see what happened if you did that, to kind of fatten out those bows. Totally. Or even taking a like much wider section so that you have a lot more hair to pull through here. I think both of those would be really cool. That's what I love. Like, I love that. Like, ooh, try that, Carolee. Let me know. Let me see a picture. Tag me. I want to see what happens. All right, so I have two more sections that I'm going to do here for this bow braid, and then I'll show you a cool way to finish this braid off. So I think one of the really neat things about hairdressers, we talked about sometimes getting a little bored with our work and being able to, learn new things. And realistically, that's why all of you probably popped on here today. You're like, oh man, Sam, be a professional. They're going live. What are they doing? I'm always down to learn something new. I think the cool thing about our job is that how many people work in an industry where they can choose whether or not they want to be bored today? Not very many people. I think that's something that's really unique to being a hairdresser is that we get to choose whether or not we want to be bored today. We get to choose whether or not we want to learn something new and do something different today. And so that's really what it's about here at Samvia for us is coming through and giving you some new things to think about and some new things to work about. I love that you guys are already coming up with different ways to tweak this braid and make it your own. So now we're going to go through. I'm going to scoot this band down a little bit more so it gives me some more freedom to fan this out. So first I'm going to fan out up here, which you don't have to do, but you can. I like the look of it. So I'm going to pinch with my fingertips and just pull up and out. And I'm going to go all along the right side or the back side of this braid, and then I'll go back and I'll go along the front side of this braid. And again, just giving it a little bit more interest to the end result of it. Pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, and then go through and fix your little bows. You can make them bigger if you want. You could even go through and kind of start to fan these out a little bit more if you grabbed like part of them so they have a fatter look to them. And then let's turn the bottom of this just for like something fancy. Like you could just fold this back and wrap it around the head or however you wanted to do that. But let's go all the way up the left side of this and start to pull hair out. So only doing the side closest to the mannequin's face, Diana's face, and leaving the other side natural or however it wants to start to lift out. So going through, I'm going to continue to do that until I get a lot of texture here and a lot of fanning out. So I'm actually I'm going to add a little bit of fashion work to this. Fashion Work 12 from Redken. I like this hairspray because it's used at Fashion Week. So the nice thing about it is it looks really good on camera. So sometimes when we're finishing our work and we're spraying the wrong hairspray and we go to take pictures, it'll look a little bit dusty. All right, so now we've got this left side fattened out. We can roll this up and we can turn it into a little flower, a true festival braid. Turn it into a little flower on the head, and I'll pop in some bobby pins here. So when you guys are finishing your work, like when you're taking pictures of your clients, for instance, after their hair appointment, do you take pictures of every single client? Tell me in the chat. Do you take a picture of every single client or just the clients whose hair looks really cool that day? So every single client or just the ones you think look cool that day?
You know, I always had a hard time when I was working in the salon full time finding time to take pictures. Do you have any tips for us on how to make sure we have time to actually take pictures of our work? Because as a busy stylist, I always had a problem with that.
Yeah, um, absolutely. So one of the things is, especially if you know that you have someone coming in that's letting you do really cool stuff. A little flower. There's the final of that bow braid. Um, Asking them ahead of time if they wouldn't mind you taking pictures. So if you can kind of plan into your day, obviously that's the ideal situation, but we can't always do that. Another thing that I would do, Andrew, is like if I really love someone's hair turned out so bomb and I really didn't have time to take pictures, and I really wanted to make sure I had content of that, I would actually ask them if they could come in on another day for me to take a couple pictures before work, after work, on my lunch break, something like that. Um, and see if they would be willing to do that. Sometimes I'll even offer them like a free style that day. So if they come in with it clean, maybe that's when I pop in a braid or something like that. The other thing is like, just don't overthink it. Like they have to get checked out anyways. Is there someone that can get your next client started for you, get them set up, maybe get them shampooed? You could have that consultation while that guest is getting checked out, for instance, so that you could run outside and snap a couple pictures. So one of the things too is like, if you can teach the guest to just move a little bit, so move back and forth a little bit for you while you're taking pictures, just keep snapping is my, like, get your phone up, snap, 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 up, go down, go back, go forth, take a little video. You can really get like 30 photos in about 2 minutes. So if you just move it around, have them turn really slowly for you, like they're like a floor presentation, and you can get a whole lot of photos in a really short amount of time. All right, so this side, I want to go in and give it a different texture. So this side, this new double waver, we are obsessed with this at our salon, and it's super easy to use. Now, this is the Pro Results, Sambia Pro Results double waver, and it has, I think we're used to seeing these with a triple bear. This one is a double bear, and I'm going to show you how it works, and how the easiest way to use it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is in here at the root, I'm just going to kind of scrub back and forth to warm that up, because that'll help you not get too hard of a line of demarcation from closing this. So now we're going to close it down, and the iron does the work for us. The hair will actually fall right into place of where it needs to go. Boom, falls into place. Keep it going. Boom, falls into place. So with triple barrels, I was always trying to line it up to the last piece or to the last little round, and then you're heating it up twice. So you're heating it up more than maybe you want to be heating up someone's hair. Whereas this one, it bumps down into the next spot. So again, I'll take my next section. Two really important things. One, heat protection. I'm using Iron Shape 11 here and spraying it down that hair strand to really protect it. Look, I feel like you can not use too much heat protectant, but you could definitely use not enough. So Diana has really long hair. We want to keep her hair long, so we're going to use a lot of Iron Shape. The next most important thing with a double waver and to get a really nice end result is to take your comb or your brush and make sure every single hair is coming in the same direction. And that'll give you that perfect wave in the end result that doesn't start to twist and turn around. It'll be a lot neater looking. So making sure everything is coming in the same direction. Have you guys tried this double waver yet? In the chat, let us know. Have you tried it yet? Okay, so I'm going to open it up and you'll see it just falls right into place. Open it up, scoot it down, it'll fall right into place. And if you're looking in there, you'll see where the little end kicks up here. So if I hold this out, you can see that right here is where the waver needs to hit again. So it'll fall right into place for you. I like the 90s vibe that's starting to come back and happen right now, or I guess you could call it even 70s, because in the 90s we were stealing the 70s. So that 90s and 70s vibe, that kind of carefree hair. This is a way, like, if you take out a French braid, I think it looks a lot like this finish as well. So combing everything into place, really nice and neat. Hitting it with our heat protectant. Coming down. So on this side, we're going to create a bubble braid. A bubble braid, I think, is a really fun, it's a useful looking braid, very useful looking braid. Great when you're talking about like a festival braid. And again, like when we talk about taking our styles up a notch, we're going to add a little bit of bling to that braid so that it's a little bit more fancy looking, again, for our social media or for our Instagram or for our festivals someday, please. Okay, so I've got this side all set. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of fashion work to cool everything down so that I can keep working really quickly. And I'm going to take my Sambia Artist Series finishing brush. And I love brushing through this, actually. Some people like that, like really perfect finish look. I love coming through and brushing through this because it softens it up and makes it look like a very natural wave, like it could be their actual hair and their actual wave. All right, so I've got that put in. All right, so bubble braid. Have you guys ever heard of a bubble braid? Never heard of a bubble braid. All right, the first thing that we'll do is, again, subsection. So we want to figure out where we want this braid to be. Let's take a diagonal back to the bottom of the hairline. And we're going to get everything that we're not going to put into this braid away with our dry sectioning clip. All right. We're going to take a diagonal forward section. I'm going to comb it through. So, and then we'll take an elastic. So diagonal forward section, elastic, and we're going to create our first little ponytail here. Our first little ponytail here. Something that I learned from Sam that I love is twirl your rubber band, and then you don't have to keep doing that back and forth. Wrap it around again, let it go. It's good to go. Now we're going to tighten it up. All right, so for the next section, we're going to go diagonal back again. So type into the chat, diagonal back for me. Or I'm saying the wrong thing, actually. Type diagonal forward in the chat for me. Diagonal forward, so it's diagonal forward because it's falling towards the face. So diagonal forward, type diagonal forward into the chat for me. So I know you're here with us. Diagonal forward. Take our elastic. And then watch this again. Twirl, 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 twirl. And wrap it again. And then tighten this braid up. Now this is where it gets fun. I said diagonal forward before. All right, dry shampoo paste. I love this. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, but I'm going to take a little bit of this and start to work it through the ends of the hair as we're working. So when we talk about using like a texturizing paste or a texturizing styler, a texture powder, I know Carolee brought up earlier, this helps us to get a little more poof and oomph into the hair. So creating this bubble, we're going to take our comb, our tail comb, and slide it under the hair that came from our first ponytail into our second ponytail. We're going to hold down this rubber band and just lift up a little bit. So that's going to start our bubble. It's going to start our bubble. And we're going to put our fingers underneath and pull on either side of that and pull it out to create our first bubble. So there's our first bubble. Now, take it up a notch. I've got some hair bling. Say bling. Type bling in the chat for me. Let's get some bling on this. This is for like you came in or some of your clients canceled later that day and you're really going to style this person up. Or again, they're going to a festival or doing something really fun and we want to make this really cool for them. So we're going to take some bling. I have it here on a latch hook. It's a latch hook that you can get from a art supply store. Have them all scooted around it so the latch hook closes. So we're going to take this hair. Since the latch hook is a little bit small, we're going to come towards the ends of the hair to where we can fit this hook around. I'm going to scoot up about 3 or 4 rings to come off of it and pull the hair through. Now, because we have this texture in here, it's going to be, you're going to have like a lot of stuff coming back, but don't worry about it. Just trust the process. Scoot the rings up. Everything will come down and come through. So we've got some bling. Bling it up. There's our first one. We'll tighten that up. All right. Next section, diagonal forward. Again, I'm going about an inch each time on this, diagonal forward. We're going to add it in to that last ponytail. So I think it's interesting. This is like a French bubble, a French bubble. You could keep going down just the one hair strand and just make a ponytail that has these bubbles, which is also so cute. And we'll do that at the end. I twirl. Oh. A French bubble is when you add things in. So everything becomes French when you tie it together with more sections, I suppose. All right, so taking our comb, put it under the previous ponytail. So in the chat for me, say, put it under the previous ponytail. Say, previous ponytail, previous ponytail, and start to pull that up and away. Now we're going to get our fingers in there. If we wanted to add a little bit more dry shampoo paste to rough it up, we can. We're going to put our fingers in there and start to pull. So our previous ponytail, we're going to pull it. We're going to create that bubble. Now I can see that my first bubble is starting to flatten out, so I'm just going to go in and pull that one out a little bit more. All right, now let's add our bling. Pick up the bling. So listen, this is what I'm going to say to you guys. Go, you can get a latch hook. You can get these little blings, these little rings on Amazon. But you can also support your local craft store and go and get these things at your local craft store. So I always think as a hairdresser, if you're someone that is salty about your clients doing their shopping on Amazon, then you support your local businesses as well. Hello, Andrew.
I was just cheering for that comment because I'm a big, like, hey, if you can get it local, get it local.
Get it local, get it local. So you can get these little rings in the jewelry section of your local craft store. And you can get this latch hook in the, like by the yarns. All right, we're going in. I like this like Khaleesi vibe that we've got going here. All right, now we could stop here. Let's keep going. Let's go all the way to the bottom of the section. We'll take the 1-inch section, diagonal forward again. Rubber band or elastic around the section. Here's this again for anyone that missed it. Twirl it, twirl it, twirl it, twirl it. Twirl it up a whole bunch until you feel that resistance, and then place it back around. It'll save you loads of time. And actually, I feel like you break rubber bands a lot less doing that. So I'm going to tighten that to the head, comb underneath, pull out the bubble. So pull the ponytail, pull the ponytail, pull the previous ponytail. We said go in with your fingers and bubble that section out.
Hey, Twylla, on the next bling, can you give us kind of a close-up of that? Suzanne's asking.
Yes. Let me get in here. Okay. So we're going to go towards the bottom of the ponytail because you can see the latch hook here, it's small. So it can't fit all the way up around here. So we're going to go towards the end of this ponytail, loop around as much hair as we can into this latch hook. There's a little latch, imagine, and then pull off a few of these rings, scoop them up, and then pull this hair through. So then you'll pull the hair through, keep pulling those rings all the way to the top. I think this is just a really cool way to upgrade, bring something different in. Different look. There it goes. There it goes. All right, those are all the way up there now. So I can see now our braid, our bubble braid is getting pretty full. I don't know if I can add more hair into this and still get our rings. So let's stop here and just work down this braid. Bubble, braid. All right. Elastics. So actually first let's add a little bit more of this dry shampoo paste, Redken dry shampoo paste. I really like this because the first thing that happens to it is it turns into a serum. You can see it's shiny on my hand. So it turns into a serum, which makes it really easy to work through the hair really quickly. And then when it dries, it turns into a powder. So it turns into a serum first, and then it turns into a powder. I also like to add extra to my hair if there's any left.
It's always a great towel up there, right? Just kind of work it into the hair.
Pros to short hair.
And Michelle's asking, the bands that you're using, are they regular rubber bands? Or are they specifically hair bands of some sort?
Thank you. These are just regular black elastics that I have. I got them at Salon Centric. They are, I have the package right here. Prolific Basics. Just regular tiny elastics. I like these black ones because I can see what I'm doing. So that when we go to cover up with the gold bands, I can see right where I need to go. So again, twisting it. So now when this becomes a ponytail, your technique changes just a little bit. I'm glad you said that because I couldn't see the comments. I got stuck in the comments and was like, nobody's talking. Okay. When we're working just down the ponytail and not in a French style anymore, we're going to go into the center of this braid. So we're going to open the hair up, go into the center and grab a little bit of hair. So say go into the center in the chat. Maybe with a go in the center. Grab a little bit of hair. We're going to push the rubber band back and that creates our bubble. So same thing, picking up, adding some of our bling in. Let's see if I can scoot her forward just a little bit so you can see. Add our bling in. I'm running out of bling. I was using so much. I was so excited. I have more in the pack, but another thing that you could do, you might actually have this in your salon if you guys do extensions. You could use that, use it for beads. It's like a looping tool that has a almost like fishing line on it. You could use that for this as well. And it would be really easy to just scoot everything up to the top. But I actually really like a latch hook. I always keep these in my kit because they're great for updos as well. And I know that Cara Lee has updo class coming up. And so if you're somebody that's really into bridal work, into updos, I always have a latch hook with me because when I'm doing an intricate updo, sometimes you need that latch hook to go up there and grab a curl and pull it through because it's somewhere you don't want it to be, or and you can pull it into your updo.
Hey, Twylla, as you do this
tell me
next
about
one,
this.
yeah, focus on that for just a second because this is such a great little trick.
All right, so you wrap the elastic around. I saw that from Megan. You wrap the elastic around, put 2 fingers in, and twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it. Now, what this does is instead of like wrap, 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 pulling the hair through, pulling the hair through, it allows us to not have to rough up the hair so much. And I find that your elastics break a lot less often when you do this technique as opposed to wrapping and pulling the hair through, wrapping and pulling the hair through. All right, so again, reaching into the center of this and just backing that bubble up. I don't like that piece. It didn't want to do it right. Sometimes you have to grab a different piece so it works right. There we go. Yeah. All right. We're almost done with this braid here. I'll finish up since I'm going to run out of bling. I'll finish up on this piece and then we'll move to our final braid.
I missed a question from Rosie. The great question. How do you take the rings off? Any special technique or do you just start pulling them back off?
Okay, so there's 2 different ways. One, you can go through and like snip all these rubber bands so that comes out and you can just slide everything off. If anything gets stuck in the hair, these rings are actually, I'll pull one out here for you so that I can show you. If you've ever seen where someone has that braid or a twist and they have the rings going through it, I think that's such a cool look. And I was trying to figure out how people did it for the longest time. These rings, if you get them at the craft store, they're little. I think these are 1/2 inch rings, but they actually open up. So they're bendy and they open right up. So if you get anything stuck, or you don't like something, or you've got too many on a row, you can open one up and just pop it off. You can actually take them as well and just like loop them through places and have little extra bling if you're into that. All right, so we'll stop here on our bubble braid because I'm sad and I ran out of bling. But here is it finished up as well on this head. And I pulled it and wrapped it all the way to the back. So it's fun. You can see how it has that kind of, I think it's a very useful, like fun, playful, cute kind of look. And then on the other side, I had that original bow braid that I showed you guys there as well. And pinned them both back. Sometimes it's fun too to mix up braids. And the nice thing about that is if you shot this side of someone's head and that side of someone's head, you have 2 different finishes for your look and 2 different content pieces for your Instagram. So one of the things that I like highly suggest that you do is if you have the time and if you can, even if it's once a month, get a buddy at the salon and shoot a bunch of content. So get a buddy at the salon and shoot a bunch of content. So whoever your favorite clients are that'll let you play with stuff, maybe they have cool hair color. Look, even if they don't have cool hair color, it's fine. If they're just a brunette, but you color them, if they're just an all over brunette, but they've got these long, luscious locks to play with, have them come in, do a bunch of braids, do a bunch of styles on them. I think that sometimes we forget about our poor brunettes. We leave them out to dry. We're like, oh, she's got brown hair. I'm not going to take a picture of it. So popping in a braid is a great way to have that person feel special because they want to be on your Instagram too. They want to feel special. All right, final braid. Again, craft store. Hit up your local craft store. These are bigger rings. I believe they're 2 inches, 2-inch rings. You can either find them in the jewelry section or you can make like belts and stuff out of these. So I'm going to take a bunch of these rings. This is how we're going to create our last and final look. So this time, we're just going to go in between. Here's what it'll look like when we're all done. I'm going to work in between the previous 2 braids. So this braid, I called it a loop braid originally, but I think let's call it a ring braid. So everybody type in the chat, ring braid, ring braid. So I'm going to show you this twice. We'll show it as a regular, and then I'll show it as a French. So we're going to pick up a section, scoot her back. So I'm doing about 1 inch by 1 inch. You're going to take your ring, you're just going to place it around the hair. So the hair is going to come directly through it. Okay, so if you're holding this hair up, you're going to take your second ring and you're going to lay it over the top. So this hair needs to be out of the way. You're going to lay it over the top and you're going to pinch 2 fingers up between both rings. So you're going to come up between the 2 rings, fold the hair back, grab it, and pull it through. Now this is really easy. The ring is going to do it for you. It's going to pop itself up. So you're going to reach back through it and pull the hair up and through. So that's the start. So this is the hardest part. Once you can get it started, you're good to go because it'll start to hold itself in place when we put the 3rd ring in. So 3rd ring, lay it on top. We've got the hair folded up. Lay it on top of your last ring. Come up through the underneath of both rings with a pinching motion. Grab the hair and pinch it back through. Now, you can see what I was talking about here. That ring is sticking straight up and out. It's making your job super easy. You're just going to reach through it and grab that hair. And this is what I mean by it'll hold itself in place by the time you get the 3rd ring on. So if you got the 3rd ring on, you need to take a drink break, dance break. You're good to do so once that 3rd ring is on. All right, you're going to keep that motion going. Fold the hair up, lay the ring on top. Fingers come through both rings, grab the hair, pull it through. You guys, listen, this is a classic situation of watching videos without any sound. You guys go through Instagram and turn your sound off, or TikTok and turn your sound off? Who does that? Say I do that if you do that. So I know I'm not alone. So I was watching videos on how to do this the first time and I just was watching and no one was explaining it. And I was like, I literally don't understand how they got these rings around the hair and the hair's not falling out, and like I could not make sense of it. So I had to figure out how to do this really easily and explain it as easy as possible. So fold the hair up. We're going to turn this into a French in just a second. Fold the hair up, lay the 2nd ring or the new ring on top of the last. Fingers come through, pull the hair through. Super easy. Yes, I'm still just using the 1 piece of hair, Terry, thank you. I'm going to make it a French in a second. I'm going to add more hair through. So again, this one lifts up, reach back through. Right. I think we've got the hang of that. So let's, are these bigger rings found in the craft store too? Yes, they are. I believe you can find them in the jewelry section, like I said, otherwise the sewing section will have them. So it depends on your craft store. So I've got the 1 piece that we did through. So you can continue this all the way down. We're going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to turn it into a French braid. So I'm going to show it to you again. Okay, so I'm going to pull all the hair out. Really easy to remove. Also, so you can see how easy to remove this is. This is one that once you get the hang of this, this would be a really cool thing to have at your photo area at the salon. A couple different colored rings even, so that you could pop these styles in really, really quickly. Okay, so we got the basic movement down. So now we're actually going to go through and make ourselves a section to work through for the French version of this. So if you know French, tell me the French word you like the most, or the French word you know in the chat. Nothing offensive. I can say bonjour. Je m'appelle Twylla.
I did actually find out from our friends Pascal and Jeremy that we isn't really the cool way to say it. If you want to say it kind of like the cool French slang way, it's more like way.
Way. Ooh, okay. I want to say it the cool slang way, for sure. So thank you. Okay. So right now I'm working with an inch section all the way down the back of the head. We're just doing all of these braids on one head right now. It might be a little ridiculous if you did all three on the same head, but hey, you do you. Okay. French version. We're going to take 1 inch sections as we work down. So everybody say 1 inch by 1 inch. So 1 inch by 1 inch in the comments for me. 1 inch by 1 inch. A hairdresser's inch, too, by the way. I know you know what I mean by that. I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see it from the side this time. All right. First hoop, first ring always just goes through the center. So the hair comes straight through the center of the ring. If you want to keep everything nice and neat and easy on yourself, you can take one of your dry sectioning clips and that piece that you're folding out of the way, just clip it. Clip it for a second. Now your second ring is going to lay right over the top of the first ring. You're going to lift it up. You're going to put your fingers through the center. So we've got our fingers through the center. We'll loosen our clip here. We're going to lift this hair up. And we're going to pull it straight through. Now, what ring did I say? Once we get this many rings in, we can take a break. So we've got 2 rings in right now. When can we take a break? All right, so we pulled the hair down through the second ring, and now you guys can see what happens. This second ring, you can see now we are not to the place where it holds itself. The second ring pops itself out, which makes it easy for you to reach right through it, grab the hair, and pull it through. Grab the hair and pull it through. Actually, I'm going to do that again because this is supposed to be a French. So we are going to pull it back through, but first we need to add in a 1 inch by 1 inch section. So we're going to add in a 1 inch by 1 inch section into this. There it is. So it's got to add on the pull through. Okay. Reach through that ring. We're going to add the previous hair and we picked up a new section. All right. Second ring. I see some people say, je t'aime. 3. Okay, good. I see you guys saying the third ring. So here's our third ring. Let's get to it so this holds itself in place and makes our lives easier. We're going to lay it on top. Put our fingers up through it. We're going to grab this whole section and pull it back through. Okay, so we're not quite out of the woods yet. We've got to get it back up through that ring. So I love it. I love it because the ring sticks itself up so you know exactly where you need to go. We're going to add in 1 inch by 1 inch section. There it is. We're going to reach through, grab the hair that came from previously, adding in the new hair so that it becomes French, and pull it down. Now we can take a drink break because we got 3 in. All right.
Way.
Way. Okay, you guys, say in the chat for me, like this is easier than it looks, right? This is easier than it looks. You guys agree with me? Like it looks complicated, but it is easy. All right, fold it up. I'm going to put a clip on it so that we can stay nice and neat and see what we're doing here. So I'm going to put a clip on it. Take the ring, lay it on top, reach through. Remove the clip, dry sectioning clip, pull the hair back through. Boom. Now we're on the bottom. So in order to come back up, what do we need to do? So we're making it French. So we got to add in some hair. Add in our 1 inch by 1 inch. We're going to reach back through that ring and pull it up. Now, if stuff starts to scoot around, this is also really easy to manipulate. You're going to scoot your rings up, pull them tighter. If you want them to be looser, you can pull them down. It's up to you. So you can keep tightening as you go with this look as well. Straighten her out as we're getting head up here. And we're almost done. So we're going to get to the bottom of this section and then let's just take it all the way through because I think that'll be fun. So clipping that hair out of the way. I'm going to lay a ring on top. Reach my fingers through. Pull the hair down. This is also like, it's like an optical illusion to just, I think about sometimes like, I'm going to do this on a client right in front of the mirror and they're going to think I'm so cool.
Ooh, good question from Jessica Lee Martinez. Could you puff those also?
Jessica, I really like that question. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I think I want to get all the way to the bottom of the French braiding and get one more ring in before we try it. But let's try it. All right, so we're back to where we need to pull through. Up, bring on tap, put the fingers through. Pull it through. These rings, I think I got them in, I think at my local craft store, these rings were actually in the section near sewing stuff, like near the fabrics. And they had different sizes of them. I like these because they're really sturdy. I forget what I was going to tell you about them. I'm sorry. There was a reason why I was telling you where I got them. Oh, I was going to tell you how much they cost. They only cost like $3. So I feel like, and I got 20 rings. So $3 for 20 rings for a lifetime supply of looking really cool in front of your clients. I'm just saying. Okay. So we've got, this was our last French braid piece. I'm going to pull this through, and then I liked Jessica's idea. Let's poof it out and see what happens. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the dry shampoo paste because it'll make it easy to kind of grab stuff and rough it up. Let's see. I'm thinking if I just come in with my fingers, we could puff it out. So I got these long nails, which help me out here. I'm going to kind of stick them in under here. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we have to start from the bottom and work our way up. Ooh, see? This is the best part. The best part about being a hairdresser is there's always something to learn, but there's also always something to share. There are always questions to be asked, no matter what. Even when you're the one coming through and sharing the information, someone else is going to give you a cool idea. So thank you, Jessica. Jessica, right? Yeah, Jessica Lee Martinez. Thanks, girl. Yeah, I like this. So you can kind of like pull it out and fatten those out. Pull it up. Pull it up. Cool, cool. Okay, so once we have that, let's put a couple more rings through, and then we can turn this into a little bit of an updo. So fold the hair up, placing a ring on top. I hope everyone's going to go try to find rings and do this. I had a belt like this when I was a kid. And now that I have these rings, I'm trying to make a belt like it again because it was the coolest belt ever.
I was actually thinking that as you were doing it. I'm like, that reminds me of like a super 70s rocker style belt.
Totally. I remember I wore the belt to death in it. And now I'm sad that I don't still have it because I could remake it. Okay, I think I might have pulled the rings off and then done the same thing where I had no idea how they got there. It's like, okay, well, that was an optical illusion. All right, let's do, I've got 2 more rings here. So following along the same method, pulling the hair through, pulling the hair up and through.
Couple questions as you're finishing that up. Joel has the question, how long can this hairstyle hold up? Like the longevity of it?
Yo, I feel like this, they could go to a festival for a whole weekend. Their head would for sure hurt when they slept on it. But I really think, I mean, like, when they're together, they're together. Like, they're not going anywhere. You have to, like, really work to pull them back out. So this hairstyle would last for a while. I feel the same way about the bubble one. The bubble one could definitely last a whole weekend of festivals, for sure.
And, you know, with this one, it seems like you need a little bit of length to the hair. What do you feel like the shortest length that you could work that?
I would say, I mean, you would definitely at least want to get the 3 rings in so they hold themselves in place. So at least I would say 6 to 7 inches of hair. So, I mean, that could be a bob. That could be a bob that's, you know, blunt, and you do it from the top for sure.
For sure.
It definitely looks cool if you do it on super long hair, but I don't think it's only for long hair people. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, so now we can just fold this up and create something really cool with our end result. And man, an hour goes by fast. I'll tell you what. So that's
time flies when you're having fun.
I know. So there's your 3 braids for the day. I love them all because I think that they look like they're a lot harder to do than they are. We gave you some upgrading techniques, so adding in some rings and some blings, different ways to use product. Definitely get this bad boy, the Pro, I don't want to say the wrong thing, Pro Results Double Waver. We've been selling these like crazy at the salon too. Our guests love them. Super easy to use, super fun. But the thing that I really want to like leave you guys with, unless there's any more questions, Andrew, is again, at Sam Via Hair, like it's so important to us that we continue to share new methods with you guys. And like I said, the coolest thing about being a hairdresser is that there's always something to learn and there's always something to share as a hairdresser. So go back to your salon. Don't keep this to yourself. Let them see how cool you are because you learned how to do this, and share it with them. Amp up the game, get together with some friends, create a bunch of content, up your social media, help the industry as a whole, because we all get cooler when we individually get cooler and share that information with each other.
Yes, ma'am. So true. So true. So a couple final questions. How did you finish off the ends with that? Did you place a
This
band
one?
onto it, or?
I did not actually. I just twisted it up and put a pin in it. If you were going to put rubber bands into it, it wouldn't, you'd have to wrap this last piece around a couple times to hold it in place. And then I would put a pin through it because the rubber band won't fully hold that. Although, let me try something. I usually just pin it up when I do it, but I'm wondering if you took an elastic and did like wrapped it around. There we go. You could wrap it around that last section between the two, and that would probably help hold it as well, as long as you pin that out of the way and kind of hid that guy. Good question.
Great question. And then how do you charge for these kinds of styles?
Yeah, so in the salon, if I was doing this for someone for like a festival, probably charge it as an updo. I mean, when I'm just doing it to take pictures for my social media, I don't charge anything for it personally. But yeah, if someone was going to go out and wear it, we actually have a braid charge as well, which is significantly less than an updo charge. So if I was just doing one braid and it took me like 20 minutes, I would do a braid charge for it, which for us, I want to say it's like 30 to 40% of what an updo is.
Nice.
Just depends on how intricate that braid is.
Yeah. And what great ways to add value, like you said. I mean, just having some of these different bling pieces around just to throw into the hair as an accent or something. Like these are the things that really set us apart as hairdressers, is that little extra touch. And sure, you could charge a little bit for it if it's more complicated, but hey, if you've got some time, you've got a couple of things laying around, you got an opportunity to grab a great picture for your social.
Totally.
Everybody wins.
Everyone wins. And these little adornments are super inexpensive. So if you wanted to charge the guests for them, you could, but I would just work it into the prices of what you're doing in the first place.
For sure. So guys, I know that you learned a lot from Twylla. Please go give her a follow over on Instagram, Twylla Jane.